Hey, let's go ahead and get it. This is Driving with the Miles. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I'm going to go over who needs this. If you're a beginning driver, less than 10 years of experience, if you're taking your DMV test, your road test, all of these things are super important and they will prepare you for success. So you always should know down as left. A lot of beginning drivers forget left and right. This is a common thing. If you're driving and someone is tapping their brake lights, this means be aware. A lot of times when I'm with students, they're so consumed in just keeping the car straight, they're not aware of brake lights. So you got to know what those brake lights are. Obviously, you things that are really important. Your windshield wipers, right? A lot of times drivers are making a right turn, left turn, accidentally turn on the windshield wipers. We both kind of laugh a little bit, but that's one thing you need to know where your windshield wipers are located. Your emergency flashers. There's a little red triangle that you would push whenever we're parallel parking on the street. I activate those so my students can parallel park. This lets other drivers know your car is not in good working order. There's some type of an emergency, but you should always be aware because there are drivers out there who maybe might not pay attention. Insurance, any of the things you need for your vehicle. So you got to know where that is, and your seat belt. Always put in your seatbelt first. This lets the instructor know, the DMV tester know, the road tester, hey, I am serious and we are safe. Let's talk about some of the critical areas right now. Wheel, that's automatic failure. That's a critical driving error. You strike the curb or you hit an object. That's automatic failure. You could damage the car, lose control, have an accident, have a prescribed route. There are up to 3 different routes that they would go on. You make a dangerous maneuver. Example, making a lane change in the middle of an intersection. That's the limit. Could be ground for automatic failure. You might get one warning. You might get a deduction in points. Or you go under speed, 5 to 7 under the limit. Equipment and a lane violation where you're not using your blinker. You're making a lane change. You failed to check your blind spot. You didn't activate the blinker, or you looked over the wrong shoulder. A lot of times we begin, oh my God, this test is going to make or break me. And it's true, but relax. A lot of times drivers always turn on the wrong blinker, they'll look over the wrong shoulder. And the next part, you have to enter the expressway or freeway. You need to do your traffic checks. You have to look over your shoulder. It's required or you're going to cut off a car. You have to signal your intention. If you signal too early, that's bad. If you signal too late, that's bad. Timing is very important. You speed, either underspeed or overspeed. If you overspeed, you're going to cut off a car. If you underspeed, you will get cut off. And then that's a dangerous situation where the instructor or DMV tester has to intervene. Your spacing is wrong. You are right on top of cars. You need to reduce speed. You need to keep space. If you look at any other of my content, I keep space. I have space in front of me, space behind me, space beside me. That center, you want to aim high and look down the road. Yes, you're going to be nervous. Yes, you're going to be gripping that wheel, but relax. Take a deep breath. It's okay to have anxiety. Talk to your DMV tester, road tester. Hey, I'm a little bit nervous. Can I relax a moment? Good DMV testers, road testers will say, sure, I understand. Take a moment because we want you to be successful. And that first drive is the most dangerous. You get into that vehicle, you're not sure of this person, they have an evaluation sheet, and your mistakes or seeing you're changing a lane, you have to look over your shoulder, you have to check your blind spot, you have to have good speed, you have to have good space, and steering control. If you jerk the wheel, the car is going to swerve out of the lane left. And when you're smooth, that shows confidence, that shows consistency. Let's keep going. Exiting. A lot of beginning drivers have too much speed coming off the exit ramp. You have to reduce your speed. You have to de-accel properly. Your speed in the de-acceleration lane. You want to check your rear mirror, and prior to you getting into that clover leaf, you want to reduce your speed 25, 20 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour, and look up the curve all the way around. A lot of beginning drivers, I can't tell you how many, look to the left and you're going to go off the edge of the road. You're going to hit all that debris part to the outside edge. You're going to cross that yellow. That's the point deduction. If you're going to cut it really sharp and overturn, you're going to cut it over really big, really, really important. Okay. You have to check your mirrors. you've got to check your blind spot. Again, if I tell you to make a lane change to the right, you're going to make a lane change to the left. You're going to look over the wrong shoulder. You're going to use the wrong blinker. I'm smiling because I'm in the business of helping people. When you get to that DMV tester road test, and now your DMV tester road tester's heart is pounding, and then now you're tense and nervous. So you got to make sure you're looking over the correct shoulder. You also have to have good speed control to maintain good speed control, to be safe, to be consistent. Let's talk about backing for a minute. You have to look out of your back window when you back up. You can't look in the mirror. You can't look in the side mirrors. We got to see you turning your head, looking out that back window, and turning very smoothly. You also have to have good speed control. And this backing can be parallel parking. This backing can be three-point parking. All of those maneuvers require you to practice. And if you don't go to a parking lot, and if you don't practice in your neighborhood, making right-hand turns, going around the block 4 times, getting 16 turns, going around the block 4 times, making lefts, getting 16 turns, that's 32 turns. You should be consistent in your turns. Let's talk about through intersections. You cannot make a lane change through an intersection. If you make a lane change through an intersection, that is a deduction. That's a dangerous maneuver. You have to yield to oncoming traffic that is in the intersection. If you're making a right turn and someone's walking or a car is occupying that space, yield. So have a good gap, a good space. You don't want to just turn out in front of cars. You have to look to your left if you're making that right turn. You should always look left, right, left. Don't stare at the speedometer. That's another point of losing because you keep staring at your speedometer. Let's talk about turns for a moment. You're making a left turn. Are you checking traffic? Are you looking ahead? Left turns, going right, going left, yielding. You are in this intersection. You have to yield to oncoming traffic. You go 3/4 of the way up. You stop. You wait. You check traffic. When there's a safe gap, you turn into the nearest lane. The nearest lane is by the double yellow. If it's a triple left turn, double right turn, you have to be able to deaccelerate or accelerate through the lane change. Those things are super important. Then you're consistent. If you make your turn and then you drift to a lane, that is the deduction. So you must turn into the nearest lane. You must look, you check traffic, you check your rear view mirror. Let's talk about stopping for a second. You have to stop behind the stop line. This allows the intersection to be clear. This allows pedestrians. It tells you to make a right. You stop. You signal your intention. You look over your shoulder. You check. You turn your head to oncoming traffic. If it's clear, then you proceed with caution, always yielding to pedestrians. The other cars are already in there. You have to make a complete stop. No rolling stops. That's another source of failure. If you're going to roll that stop sign, you're going to end up failing. If you're going to roll and not stop on that red light, that's another point of failure. Let's talk about turns for a second. I've been getting a lot of questions on that. If you go too fast in your turn, you're going to swing out wide. A lot of bidding drivers do that because they're going too fast. You want to turn and be in that turn under 15 miles an hour. You want to cover the brake. You want to slow down. You should be slowing down, looking to your left, looking where you want to go. You don't want to look down at the speedometer. You don't want to look at the hood line. You want to look where you I should see you turn your head and looking where you want to go. A lot of beginning drivers are scared to turn their head. So in that first week of class, I teach my students, turn your head, look where you're going, see the big picture. That is so, your hands to the bottom of the wheel or to the top, you're going to make the wheel small. I'll do a video on steering control and why that's important, but you don't want to make to the right, hitting the curb, hitting a tree, or throw the car to the left, literally going out of your lane, feet or half a block. So signal your intention, look ahead, take your time, be patient, and then you will gradually come to a stop. You're going to turn on your right blinker. You want to check your rearview mirror every 12 to 15 seconds. And you want to maintain a comfortable speed. You want to have that blinker on, no turn on red. You cannot turn on red. Sometimes I ask students, can you turn on red? Yes. Well, I say to them, you didn't look at the sign. You always have to look at the sign. You always have to have awareness. You always have to see the whole intersection. Pedestrians are coming out. Let's talk about stops. You want to make a full, complete stop behind the stop line. Then after you stop, it's called inching forward or move forward. You want to make sure you have a smooth stop. You don't want to slam the brakes. If you slam the brakes, then you're going to jerk the car. That's a point of deduction. You want to stop with adequate space. I like my students to stop. I want to see the rear of their tires because adequate space. Um, let's talk about lane usage. You want to begin turning in the correct lane. A lot of beginning drivers turn in the wrong lane or overturn or underturn. You don't want to cut the turn too short. A lot of beginning drivers cut the turn too short. If you cut it short, you're going to go over the curb. If you turn late, you're going to go wide into the wrong lane. Um, you want to keep the car centered in the lane. You also want to be aware of the bicycle lane because more and more communities are having bicycle lanes. The car and bikes do not mix. You don't want to drive too far to the right. A lot of beginning they're on the right side. So you want to practice getting that car centered. And then right lane for right turns, the nearest lane. So in closing, we've kind of talked about how you would pass your test, some of the common errors. And let's kind of wrap this up. I'm a certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. I want to say thank you with driving angles. I'd like you to take both of those again. The Kahoot is live. It's already set. Click on the link, put your name, up to 2,000 people can play. And then the Quizlet is there for you too. I want to educate you. I want to bring you value live again the next day. I just want to say thank you, and please give it a thumbs up and like it. If you have any questions, you can ask some questions now. If not, then